Hi guys and people, how are you guys doing? I hope all of you guys are doing well. So let's talk about Pastor Mike Todd a little bit, okay? So I have two disclaimers before that, okay? The first one is like, I didn't really want to make this video because one, I don't have like a huge follower, like I don't have like a lot of follower or subscriber in my YouTube channel and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, even if I talk about it, maybe it's not gonna do like a huge impact or stuff like that. And and secondly, I didn't just wanted to give him much attention, because I think that the world is doing that already, so he doesn't need one little Deborah again to give him attention. And third one, just for the first disclaimer, is because I think he said one time that there's a lot of people making videos about him just to have a follower, okay, just to have a follower or a subscriber, because if they just see Mike Todd, they're gonna follow. And I didn't really wanna be among these people. I didn't want to feel like, okay, I already don't have a follower, so I'm sure if I make a video about him, I might fall in that category of someone who just want followers, and that's why I didn't really feel like doing this. And the second one is because the second disclaimer is because I thank God because he gave me a gift. I have the gift of vision. I have the gift of revelation. Like, God literally like speaks to me about stuff. But here's now the problem is that I am the first, and I will be the first to admit it. I am the first who like question every time that I will hear someone say, God told me, God showed me. I'll be like, are you sure God showed you? So every single time that God will actually show me something about someone, I'll be having a hard time to actually go and talk to that person, because I know that myself, I always question, vision. I always question people's vision or revelation. So I feel like if I go and then tell someone, God showed me this, I'm sure that the person could have questioned too. So I'll be like, okay, God, you know what? I'm just going to write it in my book, and I'll be praying for this person, or I'll be praying for this situation. But I will not like literally come out and then say, God showed me this, because I already know that I am the first to question other people's vision. But anyway, why am I making this video? I decided to make this video because I was watching a video on TikTok, and this girl who was talking about Pastor Mike Todd, and she was like, what shocked her the most is the people that are the congregation. They shocked her because she's wondering if those people are under a spell, because after all the theatrics and all the crazy things that Pastor Mike does, how come there's still people over there, cheering him and then clapping and then saying amen and stuff like that. So she was wondering if the people are under a spell or anything like that. So I'm like, you know what? I think it's time for me to share this dream and this vision that God showed me about Pastor Mike Todd. And I will also say that I really did like Pastor Mike Todd at some point in my life, because he really did help me at some point in my life. He really did. So I'm just going to give a little backstory how I come across Pastor Mike Todd videos, because I don't live in Tulsa, I'm in California. So in 2017, we had a news that our first child, our son, he was in the spectrum, autism spectrum. And it was really heartbreaking. I was really, really broken at that time. And I really didn't know what to do, because one, I didn't know what is autism, so I was trying to figure it out. Me and my husband, of course, we were trying to figure it out, but I was the most broken. I was really in the downtown, and at that time I was kind of like disappointed about God, because at least for me, I felt like I was doing everything right. I felt I was doing everything right, and I felt like, you know, I already went through a lot in my life, and I deserved a break. I deserved to breathe. I deserved to have things easy, you know, if it's not everything perfect, but at least an easy life. But here I am again with another mountain that I need to climb. With it, you know, it was really a hard time for me. And you know, at that time I was like, I don't know even how to pray. I don't know. I just was broken. And so it was like the end of 2017, and around when until 2018, we had to move where we were living. We came to this apartment, and then you know, I met this young woman, this woman here in this apartment, and she's the one who like kind of like tried to, you know, start to encourage me to go back to God. And you know, she's like, I know that it will be hard, but maybe it's good for you to like go on YouTube and maybe just listening to worship songs and stuff like that. That will kind of like help you to get in your right place faith wise. Okay, so that's what I decided to do. So I started to do I'm going to YouTube, and then I will listen to worship song, and you know, that's kind of like relieve my spirit. Okay, and while I was doing that on YouTube, that's when I come across one of Pastor Mike Todd videos, you know. So it was, I think, mid 2018 Pastor Mike videos, and you know, I watched it and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And you know, he was talking about his son who's autistic too, and his son is about the same age as my son for some reason. And he was like, you know, talking about his son, to how he's autistic, and then, you know, everything that they're going through and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my God, look, like he has a son who is autistic too, but look how he's preaching, look how he's like, you know, on fire for God and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, you know, I don't have any reason to be mad at God. I don't have any reason to stop praying, to stop being devoted to God just because I have an autistic child. Like, I need me to be on fire for God and to get back to God, you know. And that's why I say that he really played a huge part in my life, because that's really literally like when I went and then started to force myself to get back right with God. And you know, and so I started watching him, like, and you know, it became like my home church. Like every single time that I will not go to church in my city, like I will be watching Transformation Church, and I will share, and I will encourage other people to follow that. My little followers that I have on Instagram, I will post video about Transformation Church. And you know, I was really like in there, like all my family told me that I was really that Transformation Church girl. Yeah. You know, like Transformation Nation, I was here for you. Anyway. Yeah, so I think so it was like that. And I think in 2020 I had like a huge argument with my little brother, because my little brother was like, I don't really think that your pastor, because everybody in my family were you know, they were calling Pastor Mike my pastor. They would say, I don't think your pastor really is like, you know, is like real, like in God stuff. I'm like, you know, because he was not okay with Pastor Mike Todd, how he was using secular music sometimes in his sermons to make a point and stuff like that. And I was all back there like arguing with my little brother, and then like defending Pastor Mike Todd. I'm like, no, you know, it's not like that. It's just the word and stuff like that. So I really like was in, okay, like I would defend Pastor Mike Todd and stuff like that. And you know, but I think that it was like God trying to like, you know, catch my attention about certain things that my brother was talking about Pastor Mike. But you know, because my mind was in, and then I was like, you know, I don't really care about everything that he does there. I know what I'm listening to it, because you know, how I felt about him having an autistic child but still preaching and stuff like that. Anyway, so it was even Transformation Church who called for a prayer and fasting for I think it was 7 days prayer and fasting. And I'm like, oh, I went in, you know, I went to prayer fasting. And one time I was over here in my couch. I was laying down. I think it was on a Wednesday. Oh my God, I need to go back to my book and then give like the exact date. So it was on Wednesday, but I know it was on Wednesday because I had to go pick up my son from school when I woke up. So I was here in my couch and I was watching one sermon of Pastor Mike Todd. So while I was laying down on the couch, we were fighting and praying, so I was kind of like tired. And as I was watching, I dozed off, went like to sleep, okay? And while I was sleeping, here's the dream that God is showing me. God is showing me, like, Pastor Mike Todd, he was like preaching, he was in the middle of something, and it was like this spirit behind him, like this pretty woman behind him, okay? Like, she was like pretty, like, behind him, and then the weird thing about that dream is that the congregation, instead of being normal people, I would say normal people, being there listening to the word, it was people like doing sexual immoral stuff. They were having sexual intercourse, but it was nasty. It was like really a nasty scene in that dream. And Pastor Mike, he was there in the middle of that, and he was talking, he was like smiling, he was like being like his crazy self. I'm sorry, but his funny self, I would say. He was being his funny self, like the way he preached. And this woman spirit in his back, but he looks like he didn't know, because everywhere we go, that woman will fall. And the congregation, they were just doing sexual immoral stuff, like it was nasty, And I jump in my sleep, and I'm like, oh my God. So when I woke up, at first, I really thought that it was my dirty mind. But the thing is that I don't have a dirty mind. I usually don't. Like, sometimes when my husband will say some stuff, like, I'll be like, why are you talking like that? Because for me, I am like this, like, I don't like all those stuff. I do not. So, but when I woke up, at first I was like, why would I think like that about a man of God? Stuff like that. And I'll be like, no, like, I'll be like purifying. I started praying and then purifying my mind, purifying my spirit. And like, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it. With the blood of Jesus. And that was it. It was done. And then, as the time passed by, I started just feeling uncomfortable. Every single time I would try to watch Transformation Church, I'll be so uncomfortable. Like, I'll be like, it's like every single time that image will come back. And I'll be like, I started to pray about it. Because I was like, no, this is not normal anymore. Like, I cannot be here and then look, when I see those people, that's the image is coming in my head, So while I was praying, that's when God was telling me that Pastor Mike is working with the spirit of seduction. That woman behind him is a spirit of seduction. And we all know who he is, the spirit of seduction. The snake. Do you remember the snake when he came to seduce Eve to eat that apple, to eat that fruit, and then to go against God's word? That is exactly the spirit that Pastor Mike is working with. Now, I don't know if he knows it. I do not know if he knows it. But God is telling me that Pastor Mike is working with a spirit of seduction. And all those people around, they are under that spirit. They are under that spirit. And they don't know it. They are under that. They are being seduced by the snake to go against God's will. Like every single time the word that came from Pastor Mike's mouth, it came from that spirit of seduction, and it's seducing all those people, and they are being under that spell. And then when God told me that, I'm like, my God. So I started praying for Pastor Mike. Because I was like, God, does he know about it? Does he know about it? But I didn't get any confirmation if he knows about it. And that is how I just decided that, we're done. I think our time here is done. I think our time here is done. And that's how I decided to stop. So that's how I decided to stop watching Pastor Mike Todd. And, I never really share with anybody this dream or this revelation. But then when I saw that girl, she was saying that she doesn't understand why the congregation was still, like, they were still, like, cheering up with all those theatric and crazy things that she does. And I just wanted to say, the congregation are under the spirit of seduction. And it's really, really hard sometimes to get out of that spirit. The same spirit that made Adam and Eve to get out of that, the Garden of Eden. That is the spirit that is working with Pastor Mike Todd. And it is seducing people. And it's hard for them to see. It's only God. Only God. And I will urge, like, everybody to keep on praying for Transformation Church, especially for the souls, for the congregation, especially. May God open their eyes. Because that is, they need it. May God open their eyes to know that they are under a spirit of seduction. Okay? That's it. May God bless you. Don't forget, stay in or join the race. Like the